Hi everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to another episode of Relationship Talks with Adeze Adana. I hope that you have been enjoying all the videos that I have been sharing with you all in the last couple of weeks. Today I want to talk about things that you cannot afford to keep away during courtship. Things not to keep away during courtship. And basically it has to do with the kind of information that you must not keep away from your intending spouse. Because if you keep this particular information, these informations that I'm going to actually talk about in today's video, if you keep it away from your partner before marriage, if your partner discovers it during marriage, it can actually break your home. Now, we know that when you are dating or you are in courtship, okay, there are certain things you might want to keep away from your intending spouse, and there are certain things that you must not keep away from your intending spouse. The things that you choose to keep away, you can actually keep them away, probably because you believe like it's not the best of times to discuss it, or you feel like both of you do not have this particular commitment, at that time for you to be able to pass that information, across to your spouse, or you feel like your spouse has not gotten to the point where they can where they can comprehend that information. But as soon as you realize that both of you are strong and your relationship, the communication in your relationship is top notch, these are things that you cannot afford to keep away. Number one, if you are a single mom and you have kids, but your kids don't live with you, probably your kids are being raised somewhere else by maybe your auntie, your uncle, or it can even be your parents. Maybe you kept your kids with your parents for your parents to help you in raising the kids, so you can have the freedom to be able to achieve more things for yourself. Okay, it could also be that you once had a baby in the past, or when you were younger and you gave up the child for adoption, or even it's also possible that you had a child out of wedlock, but you lost the child. Now, you do not want to keep that information as a single mom or a single man. All right, a single father or a single mother, this is for you. You don't want to keep this away from your intending spouse. You need to let your husband to be know. A man who wants to spend the rest of his life with you is going to spend the rest of his life with you, whether or not you have a child or not. So hiding that information from him because you are afraid that if you tell him, he's not going to, he's not going to want to commit to you, is a big injustice to yourself and actually very unfair to him. You need to let him know, yes, I am a single mom. I have kids, or I once had a baby. I gave up my baby for adoption, or I lost my baby, whatever the case may be. You need to let him know. If he knows this information, then he will be able to make his decision based on this particular information. And if you're a man as well, you know that there is, you fathered a child with someone, and maybe you're not even raising the child is with the mom. You actually need to tell your wife to be. You need to tell your intending spouse. You do not want to keep such a crucial information away from your spouse. Please, please, please. I get this all the time. Sometimes I get these messages like, in my inbox. I find out that, people probably kept this information away from their intending spouse, and everything went well. They got married, and then guess what? The husband or the wife now discovered in the marriage that their partner or their husband or their wife actually fathered or mothered a child outside wedlock. And when I mean mother, like they were like single moms before coming into the marriage. Okay, and of course things just went south from there. The man most men will feel like they've been lied to, they've been unfairly treated. Even for the women too, they believe that, you lied to me. I mean, it's so difficult to trust the person who cannot tell you the truth about, their own child, their own blood. If you can lie about your child, then what won't you be capable of lying about? That's like the mentality in marriage. So you don't want to do this. A man or a woman who loves you is going to accept your son, is going to accept your daughter, will accept your kids. Even if you've had 3, you've had 4, please let your husband know, your husband to be know. Let your wife to be know that, you are a single mom or you are a single father. All right. And also you want to let them know the responsibility, especially for the men. If you know that you're involved in the life of your child financially, physically, emotionally, you want to let this woman know. You want to let your wife to be know, listen, I have a child with this woman and I am emotionally involved, physically involved, financially involved with my child, and let that woman be the one to make the decision about whether or not she wants to go ahead, with marrying a single father who is actively involved in the life of his child. All right. So you don't want to keep that information from your wife to be, because you feel like, oh, if I tell her, she might get scared and, might not want to be with me. No, those are things you both need to talk about. If you're a man, you need to let your wife to be know. If you're a woman, please, I beg you. This is so common with women. A lot of women do not. I don't know if it is fear of, not being accepted. Listen, you have to overcome that fear. All right. It is better the man knows what he's going into than for him to find out along the line that you were a single mom way before he met you, or you have kids growing up somewhere else, growing up in another home. You really want to let them know. That's number 1. The number 2 thing you want to make sure that you discuss, okay, before you go into courtship, something you must not keep away is the debt that you have on you. A lot of people come into marriage and they don't discuss these things. You don't tell your wife to be as a man, listen, this is the debt I have on me, especially when you know that you've gotten to the stage where, things are really getting serious between you both, and you can see this woman in your future. That's actually the time where you need to, that's when you actually need to have this kind of discussion with her. Let her know, okay, debt that you're owing, how many millions you're owing. You need to let her know if you have school debt, you have whatever it is, credit card debt, whatever debt it is. If you've taken loan from a bank, you need to let your spouse know. But the thing is, a lot of men keep this information away, and it will come up in marriage, and then the woman is aloof. She gets into a marriage thinking, okay, it's just you and I, this is what you earn, this is what I earn. And then she realizes that, aside from what you earn, you have a lot of debt on you. Like, you have a lot, you're owing so many people. That's not the kind of information you want to keep away from your wife to be. If you're a man, let her take her decision. If she wants to, get married to you, regardless of, the financial debt that you have on you, let her be, please, the one to make the decision. But please, by no means, keep this information away from your wife to be. And if you're a woman as well, it applies to you. A lot of women too don't understand that these are things you need to discuss with a man. You don't just keep it away and then you get married and expect this man to start to, pay for your debt. It's not right. It's not fair to the man that is getting married to you. If you have a lot of school debt, school loan, you have any sort of debt that you have on you, let the man know upfront. This is what I am owing. If you're owing the government, if you're owing the bank, if you're owing a school, if you've taken car notes, just let the man know what he is dealing with. All right. And you're helping him make an informed decision, because he knows that by marrying you, he's also going to share part of that debt. And if he tells you, I'm not ready to share part of this debt, you want to pay this debt yourself, you both will be able to talk about it. Okay. He's now making a decision that is based on, something that could potentially be a big threat in your marriage, were you not to have told him about this. Okay, so if you didn't tell him about the money you owe and all of that, and he stumbles into that in marriage, it's already a problem. A lot of issues will start from there. It will be a financial battle, and at that point you say, you know what, since you didn't tell me what you're owing, I'm not going to take on any of this. And as a woman at that time, you feel like, oh, he doesn't want to help me. How can you be married to me and you're not helping me? But you did not carry him along. You didn't tell him whatever it was that you had as a debt that you had not paid off. Okay. But if you had told him, he would have decided, okay, do I want to go ahead, marrying this woman with this type of debt on her, or do I want to walk away? Most times, a man who really wants to spend the rest of his life with you will make his commitment to marrying you, and both of you will be able to, look at what he earns and what you earn, and both of you will be able to say, okay, this is how we're going to handle the payments until you pay them off. Okay, and you will be able to have a good financial understanding before saying I do. The third thing you want to tell your intending husband or intending wife to be this one. A lot of people hide under the cover of, yes, I don't want to, no sex till marriage, which is the absolute right thing for you to do, which is what God wants you to do. But a lot of people tend to hide behind this and do what? They hide behind it and lie to their spouses. They lie to their wife, they lie to their husband. They for the men, maybe for instance, you are not sexually potent, or you have a sexual problem, or you're not able to impregnate a woman. You're having maybe fertility issues or sexual issues. You need to discuss these things with your wife to be. A lot of women have committed to marriages and found out that they married an impotent man and he did not let them know. He hid that information away from them. You're not going to say, because we are doing things God's way. If we are doing things God's way, then it has to be absolutely God's way. You're not going to take half of God's way and then do half your own way. No, it's deception. When you marry someone without telling the person, oh, I am impotent, or I cannot have kids, I am having fertility issues, you need to let the person know. Your family might not know, but the person that you're about to spend the rest of your life with, you need to let that person know this information. Because if you do not let that person know this information, you have deceived that person. And then the person is going to come into the marriage and discover that. How do you expect that marriage to work? How do you expect that marriage to work? So please, you do not want to keep away your sexuality, your fertility, from your intending spouse to be. If you're a woman, you also have fertility issues or sexuality issues, you need to discuss all of this with your intending spouse. All right. So please do not forget these crucial things. Make sure that you discuss them, during the course of your courtship. Do not keep this information away. Please, if you know that you have fertility issues, please discuss with your intending spouse to be. Both of you can put your heads together and say, okay, let's look for help. Already the woman is making an informed decision, and the man is making an informed decision vis-a-vis getting into a marriage and then finding out that, my spouse has fertility issues. He knew all along, but I did not know. God does not want you to keep such an information from your spouse. It's deception, and God doesn't support it. Okay, so please do not keep these things away from your spouse. Do not lie to your spouse about your finances, and do not lie to your spouse about, if you have kids from prior, before you both met, or if you're a single mom or single dad, do not lie about that status to your intending spouse, and do not lie about your sexuality or your fertility issues. If you have any of that, discuss it. Both of you will be able to make this decision. Pray about it, and listen, there is nothing God cannot do. There is no life God cannot rewrite. There is nothing God cannot do. So if you have absolute faith and confidence in God, you know that God brought this man to you, God brought this woman to you. Prayerfully talk to God about it, then talk to your intending spouse, and both of you will be able to pray together and then find solutions to the ones that need to be resolved. And if both of you decide to bring your kids into the marriage, if they are living outside of the family, then it will be easier for both of you to make that decision. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, please do not forget to hit the like button. Do not forget to share, and most importantly, do not forget to subscribe. Till I see you on my next video, stay blessed, stay beautiful, and remember that God loves you and He knows that you are worth it. God bless you.